So people have been asking this question for centuries, I suppose. In intimate relationship, people have this concept called like soulmate, and they are sometimes referred to like with like other language. Some people talk about a platonic relationship, like meaning that the relationship is mainly spiritual or mental, maybe at most emotional, but there's like no physical intimacy. So I just want to say this, like, separating psychological, emotional, intellectual, spiritual intimacy from physical intimacy is a highly controversial topic. Why do I say that? Well, some people believe that spiritual or intellectual connection is more valuable and more lasting. Physical intimacy can be, like insignificant, casual. It only appeals to our bodily desires. Um, but then there are other people who argue that, like, you should not separate the mental, spiritual from the physical. An ideal relationship should be a wholesome relationship, engaging the whole person and like artificially separating them and like ranking them as like what is more valuable can be counterproductive. So what is my take on this? Well, I would say that I would go for what I call a personalized position, meaning that like we understand that like we give different meaning and assign different significance to different aspects of intimacy. We know that for a lot of people, like they don't even communicate intellectually. They don't even understand the concept of like spiritual connection, right? So a soulmate, like they don't even tell you like what color is my soul, right? Uh, I know some people think that is a joke, but like we actually um, have this saying like in the other cultures, like in the Chinese culture, we actually talk about there is like a background or core base color of your soul, right? Which of course is like a metaphoric reference. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people, like if you tell them to like introduce me to your soul, describe your soul to me, they don't know what you're talking about. They have difficulty doing that. But of course, for people who have experiences in some intensity, they know that this is really important and they would not trade it for anything else in the world. So coming back to this, right? So my idea is very simple. Like some people, when they negotiate like intimate relationships, they like some of them are looking for like physical intimacy, which is, in my opinion, very legitimate. Some people are seeking companionship, emotional attachment. That's the most important to them. Some people actually use intimate relationship to address personal needs, like I want to feel valued, cared for by another person. That is the most gratifying part of my intimate relationship with people. Some people enjoy the company, like the kind of activities. Like we're having fun together, we do fun things together, we travel, like we have like interesting activities, adventures, or whatever. Uh, so when we can talk about people who have soulmates, we're talking about people who are probably better educated, who pay more attention to their like intellectual life, who may enjoy, reading, contemplating important issues in life, and like maybe some appreciation for the arts, like in be talking about music, sculpture, painting, and other art forms. And when people are referring to each other as soulmates, they very often are also referring to shared values, including shared worldviews. So I would say that like soulmates do exist, and when they do, it is beautiful. but we also recognize the fact that for a lot of people, they don't even think in those terms, and it's not important to them. So I would say that I would not make it a recommendation for everyone that oh you should do that, like or you should like have soulmates. Um, so I think that is like probably like the first major point that I want to make. Uh, the second one, right? Like how should this intellectual or spiritual connection uh, interface with physical intimacy? As I have actually mentioned earlier, I believe that it is possible for people to separate between the two. So you can have like a connection with someone with very limited erotic connection and no physical intimacy. But interestingly, when you have a relationship like that, like you don't have an erotic or a physical component, we very often do not use the word soulmate. We will say that like this is like uh, someone like who works with me, like it's like intellectual uh, collaborator, partner, like we co-author things, right? And uh, and I have come across like people who work together in the intellectual world, like who are like constantly like working on projects together, but they do not necessarily refer to each other as soulmates. So I think when the term soulmate is used, very often it almost automatically connotes there may be some erotic attraction, some erotic overtone. It's only that the erotic and the physical are not the most central and most prominent component of the relationship. I have been asked this question whether like a person can have multiple soulmates. And my answer is very simple. Yes, of course. Right? Like if you're talking about spiritual and connection or intellectual sharing with another person, I don't see any reason why it should be exclusive. Right. And of course, like from my perspective, like if it leads to or if it is associated with, with erotic intimacy and even physical intimacy, I still do not see there is a problem. What I would want to point out though is like the other side of this picture. Honestly, soulmates are difficult to find. You know, like have like lived long enough to be able to say that, right? Um, to have someone who share your worldview, share your values, share your like aesthetic preferences, share your taste or lifestyle, is not easy. Like and when you can find one, right, you can consider yourself lucky. If you can find more than one, like I would say, you should consider yourself like ultra blessed. And I would make this observation, and you can challenge me if you don't agree. I would say, for most people, like I would say, the mean number of soulmates that human beings have is probably smaller than one, meaning a lot of people won't even have the opportunity or the privilege to get in a high quality relationship with someone. That comes with like deep, profound intellectual sharing and a spiritual connection. So that is my take on this.